Hello, my name's Raphaela and I'm doing a foundation course at Camberwell.
Hi, I'm Elliott, I'm doing architecture.
Hi, my name's Tegan, I study fine art at CSM.
Hi, my name's Tamera and I do media communications.
Hi, my name's Hayden and I'm doing fine art at CSM.
I'm a maker, I just want to just simple and plain. When I'm in my zone, I'm a maker, plain and simple. Yeah.
I like that.
I always see things in like a multi-layered way. There's always different viewpoints, even dimensions, or even different research or different inputs basically, and then I create something out of it.
I'm a perfectionist and that has bit me in the bum sometimes a lot. I've only recently started to show my cultural identity in my artwork. It's something that I didn't do for a long time because I was always taught about white artists at school. It's been something that I'm trying to do now and I'm pushing for it and I've always been very vocal about it.
Heritage-wise, I am from the Caribbean, Jamaica, and because I've never actually been to Jamaica, it's so hard for me to include that in my work. With my family, it's quite interesting because so my nan and my granddad, they're Jamaican, so my mom is British. Born in Britain. So it's because I'm third generation. As much as I connect with it, with music and food, I feel like it's quite surface level. I want to get down deeper into. So I can't really say I do include it in my work, but I include being a black woman in my work quite often.
I'm similar to, literally the same because my mom, my parents are born here, my grandparents are from Jamaica, and I haven't been to Jamaica either.
As artists, we're allowed to talk about more than one thing. It doesn't have to be this or that, you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people will expect us to be talking about this topic, and I don't really like that pressure, if you know what I mean. It's we should be able to talk about whatever we like, you know?
Obviously, culture is a big part of us. It's what makes us people, but that's not all that makes us as people, if that makes sense. More than, I find my culture is a big part of me, and I feel like even with me also being a black fat woman, of course that does kind of make my personality to some extent because of what I've experienced, and it wants me to look at the world a certain way, but it does also define my character. I'm still a person before I'm a black person, before I'm a woman, before I'm a queer woman or a fat woman. I think over time, the more I learn about my culture and the more I research about my heritage, I think over time it will definitely reflect in my work.
I think for me, being part of the diaspora and first generation, I've kind of accepted, I think because I'm older, that my cultural backgrounds aren't going to be just one place. A lot of my stuff is about clubbing and teenage life and just where I'm at right now. And I'm very because I don't know what I'm trying to get at.
No, I get what you mean. Go on.
You know what I mean? I just feel because we are black, right? We're gonna kind of sometimes unsubconsciously have those references because it's coming from us. My representation will be different because that is my perspective, that's my lens, that's how I see how it looks like, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I can imagine a whole kind of a world where my work exists and it lives. It's hard to describe.
No, I guess what you're saying. It's you're producing something and then it's in your world but you're trying to bring it to the real world, kind of.
Why do you make art?
It's always from the standpoint of expressing myself. So if art is the output of it, 100%. But sometimes art doesn't work for what I want to do. So I do art because it works for me now. Maybe in the future it won't work anymore. You're fighting yourself, kind of. Yeah. As a painter, as a film director. It's two versions of yourself. One that's want to be really creative, one that want to be really perfectionist. I mean, I'm trying to satisfy my younger version of myself. Yes. He wanted to be an inventor, so I'm trying to different stuff and trying to satisfy him as much as possible in the music and looking at your past self, how you were or how you evolved.
It sounds kind of cringy. Usually I'm no emotions, no feelings in person. So I like to use it to communicate my affection towards others. A lot of my stuff is about human connection, friendship, family, and a lot of the time I want the viewer, the audience that are watching it or viewing the work, I want them to kind of feel a warmth
I write, and I have done since I was like maybe 5 or 6. I guess I've done it as like a form of escapism.
I just really love it. My parents have always supported me, I guess. And to be honest, as a kid, like I didn't actually even care if they supported me or not, because I knew like this is what I wanted to do. And my mum was like, you know what, you can do anything you want.
I've always made art from quite a young age. I think it's something that's quite innate in me. It's natural. There's no actual reason. I feel like I'm supposed to do this.